Good evening to all. So everyone know this is a session related to SQL. Okay, approximately we have 15 sessions related to starting from the basics. That is a very skeleton. What is SQL? What are the softwares that are needed for SQL? Why we are using SQL? Everything we will discuss step by step. By the end of all the classes, you are in a position to write any query. Okay, that is the agenda of the main session. Okay, video is not clear. Okay, visible. Now open the paint screen. Now confirm whether screen is visible clearly or not. Visible. Okay. So video quality improvement is not from our side. That is from your side actually. Okay. So my side, I shared the video. If YouTube means, I think you know that one. Different qualities are there. Okay. Anyway, ignore that one. If you have any doubts, I will explain all the doubts at the end. Clear? Now directly I am moving to the concept. What is our concept? SQL. What is SQL? What is a database? What is RDBMS? Multiple terms are there. So for that I will explain clearly. Remember, we have two main important terms. One is SQL, second one is PLSQL. What are these two? SQL, the full form is Structured Query Language. Okay, PLSQL. PL means procedural language. PL means procedural language SQL. It is also called as a programming language. Actually, these two languages are available. Sir, what are these two languages? Why these two languages are required? Immediately, one question comes. Database. Everyone listen the word database. What is database? Simply a place where we are storing our data. For example, some SBI bank is there. The bank maintains one database. It in the database all the customer details, all the account details, all the amount details, everything is available. College database, the information related to the entire college. So database means simply the place where we are storing the data. So generally, before coming to database, previously the information is stored in files. So file is also used to store information. Database is also used to store information. Then what is the difference? Why we are moving from file to database? That is the most important one. For example, you are going to some SBI bank. You open some one account. General scenario. You open one account. A file is created with your name and you are moving to suppose car loan section. Here one file is created with your name. You are applying for car loan. You are moving to gold loan. Suppose you are moving to house loan. Different persons in the same bank maintain different files. The same information is repeated multiple number of times, and the most important thing is that there is no security. Though data is a permanent information, but the main problem of storing the information in files is no security. Now, to store the data permanently with secure, we are moving to database. We are moving to database. I think everyone clear. So database is used to store the data. Now most of the members, you are coming for learning SQL. Immediately one question, sir, what is the reason for learning SQL? Suppose I know Java language, or I know HTML, or I know CSS, I know Python, I know multiple languages. What is the use of this particular database? Within 5 minutes, I will give you an idea why we are moving to this programming language. Why we are moving into this programming language. Okay, remember, this is a database. Assume this is database. Okay, what are different databases that you know? So different databases. Oracle is a database. MySQL is a database. SQL Server is a database. Suppose PostgreSQL is a database. RDS is a database. MongoDB is a database. Suppose Cassandra is a database. Like this, in the industry, multiple databases are available. Again, sir, why multiple databases? For example, iPhone is there, Samsung is there, Nokia is there. So what else is there? Different companies, concept is same. Different companies uses different types. Similarly, for example, Oracle used by Oracle Corporation, MySQL, and for example, DB2. This is used by IBM. Yes, this is used by Amazon. SQL Server. This is by Microsoft. Like that, different companies have different database. This is database. Now, before going to this one, again move SQL. What is SQL? Just now you structured query language. What is this query language? Query language. Suppose I want to store my information in a database. For example, assume this is the database. Is it possible directly to store the data? No. Directly it is not possible to store. I want to express some feelings with you. How? By using one communication language, English. Exactly. For example, Oracle. General thing. Oracle is a software manages the database. Oracle is simply a software which manages the database. What is the common example? OS. Operating system control the entire hardware. Similarly, Oracle manages the database. If you want to store your information, you are communicate the user, communicate with the Oracle. How? Here I am communicating with you by using English. Similarly, by using SQL. Now you got it? User, by using SQL, they communicate with Oracle. Why I am explaining this one means I already taught SQL many number of times. Most of the members have wondered what is the difference between SQL and Oracle? What is the difference between SQL and MySQL? Most of the members have common question. Remember, SQL and Oracle both are different. SQL is a language. Oracle is a database. Oracle is a database. SQL is the language which is used to communicate with the database. Now you got it. These are different types of databases that are available in the market. Now, okay, database purpose is to store the data. How we are storing the data? How we are storing the data? Simple example: you want to create one Facebook account. What you are doing? www.facebook.com. It opens some registration page where you are given username, first name, second name, age, gender, mail ID, etc., phone number. All these information you are given. Simply you are fill one form. Yes or no? You are filling one form. Whatever the data you enter to the form, that data is stored. Now Here assume I filled one form. How? By using either HTML or CSS or JavaScript or React.js or AngularJS or Bootstrap. Different technologies are there. So web pages are created by HTML, CSS, JavaScript, whatever it is. By using any technology, we are providing the information data now. The last point is, sir, I know HTML. Suppose I know all this. Then what you know? How to create a web page, to give the data. Now, I know some Oracle or MySQL. Then so these are databases, they know how to store the data. Understand carefully, between my insertion and storing, some mediator is there. So that is this one. Without the mediator directly, it is not possible to store your information into database. Some mediator is there. Java, Python, .NET, C++, C Sharp, etc. JS. Now, generally, this is called front end. The screen that is visible to you, the front end developed by these three, the data is where our information is stored. That is called backend, and to provide communication between the front and back, we are using middleware. Now, finally, come to one point. So, I think why you are learning all these three. So, full stack, the term full stack. Clear? Full stack in the sense, you know front end technology, you know middleware technology, you know databases. Suppose if I know HTML, I know Python, I know MySQL. Complete. I only given the input, get the information, and store it in the MySQL database. Everything done by me. So highest priority in the industry. Sir, I know only MySQL. Okay, you get this job. Sir, I know only HTML. Okay, you get the job. I know only Python. Okay, but if you know all these things, this has the highest priority. I think everyone is clear. That has the highest priority. Now, again. So, database. I explained multiple databases, SQL, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server. Anyway, I will write down all these one more time. Oracle. Why means I will explain. SQL Server, MySQL, PostgreSQL, for RDS. Okay, so these are the servers. All these servers are uses SQL. All these servers uses SQL. So generally these are called SQL databases. Now you understand, if you know SQL language, if you know SQL language, then SQL language means you know all the syntaxes, everything related to SQL. So the language is implemented in one database. Suppose if I explain SQL with Oracle, then so if the SQL server again you need to learn? No, almost everything is same. If you know SQL, SQL server is easy, just to some minor changes. MySQL is easy, Postgre is easy, RDS is easy. You got it? SQL is the language. This language is used by these databases. That means, for example, in the interview, sir, I know Oracle and MySQL. No priority. Remember, even though you know Oracle and MySQL, no use. Why? Because if you know SQL in the sense, you already know Oracle, SQL, MySQL, just to 10 to 20% variation only. Okay. Now, in olden days, only these are available. By the new generation, one more thing into picture. Those are no SQL databases. Some databases are there that does not use this SQL structured query language. No SQL in the sense no structured query language. That is without using SQL also we can store the data, we update the data, all the operation is performed. Are those? One is MongoDB, second one is Cassandra. These two are the databases that are not using SQL. Now, that means if you know all the concepts of NoSQL, then easy to work with any work with MongoDB. Directly it is work with Cassandra, no problem. I think you got it. First, what is SQL databases? What is very important thing is difference between SQL and SQL is the query language. These are the databases. That is the difference. Now, suppose in our sessions I explained SQL. So, what are the different commands? What is the syntax? How do you perform operations on SQL? Everything is I explained. Depending on your requirement, we can install either Oracle or we can install MySQL or you can install SQL Server. Whatever it is, according to your requirement, you can use anything. Clear? Suppose I am using MySQL. In our sessions, we are going to use MySQL. Anyway, if you want, I will explain Oracle. Not a problem. So everything is same. Now everyone clear? Now, immediately one last question related to this one. Sir, what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL? Multiple differences are there. Right now, I will explain only single difference. By the end of this session, I will explain multiple. What is the difference? SQL databases store structured databases, that is all these databases uses SQL. SQL performs operations on the structured data. No SQL perform operations on unstructured data. Okay, that means finally you come to one conclusion. Sir, it is very difficult to identify which one I need to use while storing the data. If most of the information is the structured data, move to any one where I just suppose if most of the thing is unstructured data, move to MongoDB Cassandra. Okay, now immediately question, or what is the difference between structured data and unstructured data? Simply structured means some clear organization. Suppose if the data is in the of table, rows and columns. If you open Excel sheet, it is very easy. So rows are there, columns are there. If the data is stored in the form of tables, that is called structured data. Unstructured data means not tables. What are the different types of data we are providing? Suppose if the data is in the form of images, data in the form of video, data in the form of audio. I think you got it. So images, data in the right now what is the most popular data? Images only. For example, in WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, instead of sending text messages directly, we are sending images. Yes or no? So that is the reason this maybe plays very crucial role nowadays. So this type of unstructured data we are moving to this one. Okay, clear. Structured and unstructured. Again we have some. Sir, again, all these are available. Which one is preferable? General scenario. According to my calculation and general scenario, for example, if a company wants to use a database with advanced features in the sense with admin level features, they are preferred to use Oracle SQL Server and DB2. Oracle SQL Server DB2, these are preferable if you are going to use advanced admin level features. Suppose if you are use a normal SQL, that means normal databases, the big things what I want. In the situations, we are moving to MySQL and PostgreSQL. And this RDS is a completely different. It is used in Amazon. If you are moving to AWS, by default you are using RDS. I think you got it. So these are the differences between different data types. Finally, what is my conclusion? Basic definition, one point. SQL is the structured query language which is used to communicate with Oracle database, which is used to communicate with MySQL database, like that. Clear? Now, anybody have doubts? What is what is the difference between SQL and database? That is the only point I explained. What you need to learn in full stack. Okay. So again, one question asked: SQL and MySQL is same or different? Again, I said, remember, SQL is a programming language. MySQL is a database. MySQL is a database. Oracle is a database. MySQL is a database. Okay, SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. For example, I am communicating with you by using English. This English is SQL. This English is SQL. You are storing the information. You are Oracle. Another person, they are MySQL. Another person, SQL server. Clear? Yes. So, and one more, Java, Python, which is better to learn as a fresher to get opportunities compared to .NET, Java and Python are better. Is a Oracle is a software? Yes, Oracle is a software which is from Oracle Corporation. Oracle Corporation. Why file has no security? So you are getting this answer. Okay. Now, the next one is, so coming to right now, you understand one basic thing. What the basic thing? What is SQL? What are the different SQL databases? Different no SQL databases. Everything you understand. Now, immediately one question: types of databases. So database means organization of data. For example, everyone know data structure, organization of data. Linear data structures are there, non-linear data structures are there. What is the meaning? Different of organize the data. Similarly, types of databases. Originally, the databases are divided into two types. Originally, those are called OLA. First one is OLTP database. Second one is OLAP database. Internally, this is a division, but externally, different relational database, hierarchical database, network database, those are the other names. First, just for your understanding, I discussed OLTP database, OLAP database. What is mean by OLTP? Online transaction, online transaction processing. OLAP means online analytical processing. Sir, what is the difference between OLAP and OLTP? Generally, suppose consider any organization, some DMart is there, whatever it is, the organizations internally uses both the databases. Both the databases. So OLTP is used for day-to-day transactions. For example, this day we are doing this transaction. This time I am doing this one. This time I am doing this one. All day-to-day transaction maintenance. We are using OLTP, and so one day I got profit, one day I got less. So for all those analysis purpose, they are anyway additional points are also anyway we will discuss another things, but before that one. So these are the two types. One second, please. Okay, now along with OLAP, OLTP, how we are divide the data types, how we are divide the data types, the basic centralized database. Centralized database in the sense what they are doing in the centralized database, one database is maintained at the server, all the users interact with this, all the users interact with this. So only one database is there, everyone interact with this one, that is one database. But what is the problem? For example, user 1 store the information, user 2, user 3, suppose user 1 name is Raju, user 2 name is also Raju, it makes conflict. So to our centralized database, next to they are moving to distributed database. Distributed means instead of maintaining the information, database is information, the information is shared among all the databases are communicated. So all those are sharing the information. Compared to centralized, it reduces the burden. It reduces the burden. So cloud database. So the information is stored in cloud by using RD. Cloud database is also there. Hierarchical database. Hierarchical in the sense tree format, parent, child, child. In such a hierarchical database, network database in the form of graphs connected to multiple things. So connected to one person, connect to another, another connected to this one, some linked format are there. Now relational database, everyone coming to this one, relational database. This is a very important, and this relational database is the most popular database. This relational database becomes the most popular database. What is this relational database? I will explain clearly. Here, database, the information is stored in the form of tables. In the relational database, the data is organized or the data is stored in the form of tables. This is a table like MySQL, sorry, like Excel, in the form of table. Okay, now this is called table. Assume this is student data. Assume this is student data. What it contains? It contains all the information related to student. It contains all the information related to student. Okay, this database, you need to know complete information related to relational database. Why? Because from the next section onwards we are completely move with relational database only. This is called table. The table contains rows and columns. The table contains rows and columns. Okay, and these are rows. Each row is also called as record. Each row is also called as record. What is mean by record? Record means information. For example, student 1, student 2, student 3. A record consists of the entire information of a student. The record is also called as tuple. You can call with any name. A table, each row is called a record or tuple. Now, these are called columns. So, columns are also called as fields. and those are also called as domain, are also called as attributes. Simply, this is the roll number, for example, name, age, gender. So, properties, attributes in the sense the information, or properties of a student. Now, everyone know rows and columns. Rows and columns in the sense rows is represented as a record, column is represented as attribute. Each one is called a cell. Generally, each information. And relational database have multiple problems. Okay, why this becomes more popular in the sense it store the information in the form of structured data, and in DB database management system. So simply it is software used to organize the databases. It has relational DBMS means which uses relational databases which consists of the properties acid. In the interview, the most popular question is why the relational database is the popular, because the relational database maintains acid properties. Now I will explain this acid property and then move to the next one. What is acid property? Acid, A for atomicity, C for consistency, I for isolation, D for durability. Okay, that means if you are storing the data in relational database, it maintains this property. What is atomicity? For example, you are doing one operation like transaction, assume bank transaction. So, if you are using this one, only two cases, either the transaction is successful or not at all started. Either the transaction is success or not at all started. That means, for example, I want to send an amount from my account to your account. Suppose amount is debited from my account, but it is not credited. That's the problem. Atomicity in the sense, once amount is debited from the account, it is transferred to your account, or else the amount is not debited. Even though debited, again move back to your one. Suppose like you are using phone pay, in some situations network failures, amount is debited from your account, but it is not credited in another account. Your account, the amount moves to your account only. Atomicity, all or none. Perform, complete all the operation, otherwise don't do any other operation. Consistency means standards. That means in the sense before and after transaction you need to maintain stable. For example, my account, I have some 1,000 rupees in my account. I have 1,000 rupees in my account. So after debit 500, my account becomes 500 only. 500 is withdraw. 500 is withdraw. But wait about this 500. This 500 is transferred to another person before transaction, and after he is one person, B is another person, he has 1,000 rupees. Assume he has initially 1,000 rupees. Now 500, suppose 200. 200 is credit debit from his account. What is the balance? 800. The 200 is placed here. It becomes 1,200. Now what is the total? 2,000 only. Consistency. Consistency means before and after the transaction it should be correct. Now, isolation. Isolation in the sense, you listen the word isolate. Only one. Suppose more than one user. That means at a time, multiple users wants to use the data. Suppose want to access the data from the database. It is not possible. For example, at a time more than one person want to withdraw amount. For example, I am booking a ticket by using Redbus. Only one seat is available. How it is possible for two persons at a time book the single ticket. If the first two person enter, automatically second one is blocked. Isolation. Okay. Now durability. Once all your operation is completed, you must and should commit the data. If you commit the data is not changed. The data is not changed. By this, so right now it is very difficult to understand. Yes, while moving the operations, while going to SQL, definitely you will get an idea. Definitely you will get an idea. That is not a problem. Now, now. So till now, what you understand? What is database? Different databases are there. Among them, the popular one is relational database. The popular one is relational database. Okay. Now, one more term everyone need to know: DBMS. What is the DBMS? Database management system. Generally, database management system is a software which is used to create and manage the database. To create and manage the database, we are using DBMS. In the simple sense, the DBMS is interface between user and database. Interface between user and database, that is DBMS. So if the DBMS that uses relational database is called RDBMS, relational database management system. Now the relational, this is a software. Now I think, what are the softwares? So Oracle is a software, MySQL is a software, SQL Server is a software. I think you got it. PostgreSQL is a software, RDS is a software. All these are the softwares. All these are the different softwares. Clear? Clear? And what is the difference between SQL and no SQL? Why we are moving to SQL? Why you are not using SQL? So multiple questions are there. Multiple questions are there. So generally, no SQL means unstructured data. It handles the unstructured data. Again, in NoSQL, just for your understanding only, suppose if you are moving to NoSQL, suppose if you are moving to SQL, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, etc. If you are using NoSQL, different ways are there for storing the data. Key value, that is the way we are storing the data. Graph database, we are storing the information in the form of graphs. You are storing the information in the form of document oriented. We are storing the information in the form of wide column. Multiple things are there. Okay. What are the advantages? The first point, no need to store the data in a structured manner. That is the first point. Second one, if you are using NoSQL, it can handle large amount of data. And the most important is high scalability. Scalability in the sense, no structured. Whenever you need, you can add the data. Whenever you need, you can add the data. And we can retrieve by using key value base. We can retrieve by using key value base. So those are the advantages. All those are advantages. Anyway, disadvantages are also there. Like SQL, this no SQL graphical user interface GUI is not available. If unstructured data, organization and management of unstructured data is very difficult, very difficult, and it is a open source. Anyone can download and they can modify, even though that is advantage, at the same time that is a disadvantage. Anyone can modify. This is no SQL. Okay. Now, any doubts under this? So RDBMS acid. Anyway, okay, correct. RDBMS in a sense, I will give clearly relational database management system. What is a relational database? The data is stored in the form of tables. That is a relational database. The software, that is Oracle, is a RDBMS. The software that used relational database is called RDBMS. Relational database, RDBMS. Okay. Now, OLAP and OLTP. Remember, generally, OLAP in the sense online analytical. That means analysis. That is, the database is designed. How the database is designed in a way analysis, just to analysis purpose. Data science. Once you are moving to data analytics, it is very easy. Transaction means it stores day-to-day transactions. Right now, what is that? How many number of transactions, what are the things, everything. That is, what is the difference between DBMS and RDBMS? So very good. So again I said DBMS is a normal database management system, generally that uses the concept of files. RDBMS, for example, just you are asking, that is the reason I explained. One more thing, suppose DBMS is the general database management system. Original term is or DBMS, relational database. Everything is available. After RDBMS, one more thing is there. ORDBMS is also there. What is the meaning of this one? This RDBMS plus object oriented programming means object oriented relational database management systems. Or what is the difference? In RDBMS, everything is available except reusability. Reusability is not available. In our DBMS, this object oriented programming adds the reusability. Now, general DBMS is the common term. Everyone use that term RDBMS. So, which database you are going to use? Either SQL is clear. SQL is the programming language that we are going to discuss. And under SQL, we are moving with RDBMS. That is fine. We are moving RDBMS. Suppose right now, according to requirement, general preferable is MySQL. Generally, MySQL covers all the basic things. If you are moving to admin levels, then right now MySQL is sufficient. Okay. Now, anyone. So from tomorrow on, what you are doing, how to install and how to use, what are the syntaxes, the basic, starting from basic syntax. So acid property, don't worry. Just I explained. This is demo only. Just I explained. Atomicity in the sense all or none. All or none means if you want, perform the complete action, or else no action. Suppose the amount is debited from a account but not credited to you. That is a failure operation. So here, what is the situation? Please don't debit the amount from my account. I am not doing anything, just to stay rest. Or debit the amount from my account, credit to your account. The complete transaction is completed. Clear? Yes. So anyway, while we are moving, you get the acid properties. That's not a problem. So directly you are coming to the question SQL interview. So actually today is the first session. The first session only interviews. No. While moving on, you will get the interview questions automatically. No problem. So what is the sir? What are the different DDL commands? What are different DML commands? That is one question. What is the difference between Oracle and SQL? Oracle is a database. SQL is the programming language which is used to communicate with the database. No, centralized to distributed are different. In centralized database is one type that is used by one organization. In centralized database, only one database is maintained at the center. Everyone uses that centralized database. Okay. In distributed means instead of maintaining at one place multiple places like department library. Central library is there, department libraries are there. That is okay. So anyway, in the next session I will explain how to use this one, how to execute simple basic commands, creation of tables level by level. We move on. That is the end of today. Anything you link is provided. If you have any queries or any doubts, please post in the link. By seeing this one in the next session, I will clear all your doubts. That's not a problem. No SQL and large amount of data, no SQL. No. Again, I said SQL is a database. Programming language and SQL, there is no comparison. If you know programming language SQL, then connection is easy. So for learning SQL, programming language is not at all required. Remember, in the olden days, PLSQL is there. PLSQL in the sense procedural language or programming language SQL is there. Then only programmers only do that one. So to avoid the situation, even non-programmer also wants to use the database. They created SQL. Clear? Okay, thank you. That is the end. Okay, thank you very much. Good night.